Diesel for We the People News.
The flames, disinformation, and extremism in media. So, I have a series of videos, clips that I have taken from this 3-hour meeting to show you what is going on in this meeting. So, also, you need to know that the Democrats, JC, I don't know if you know this, the Democrats sent a letter to AT&T asking AT&T, quote, "Are you planning to continue carrying Fox News, Newsmax, and OANN on Uverse, DirecTV, and AT&T TV, both now and beyond any contract renewal date? If so, why?" What in the world is that the business of congressional Democrats? What programming AT&T is going to carry?
Well, this is a great opportunity for AT&T to. I'd love to hear their answer.
Yeah.
Great opportunity.
Well, I think we're going to have to
teach the Democrats about First Amendment freedom of speech.
So let's listen to these.
We expect to hold another hearing on March 25th with the CEOs of Facebook, Google, and Twitter to further discuss these issues.
So we have a video conferencing thing happening here, and we're going to be, now that, by the way, was Mike Doyle, okay? Mike Doyle is a Democrat from Pennsylvania who's been in office for 25 years. 25 years. I want to look this. I'm going to start documenting how long these people have been in office, right? So here's Mike Doyle again.
The First Amendment protects the freedom of the press and the freedom of speech. And the freedom of speech encourages us to ask tough questions about what is going on in the media, what is motivating the tidal wave of disinformation that is putting the lives of so many Americans and ultimately our democracy at risk.
Did you hear that, JC? Did you hear that? He actually said that the First Amendment demands Congress do this.
What is his name?
His name is Mike Doyle. It's right up there at the top. See?
Pennsylvania.
Mike Doyle, Pennsylvania. Yeah. I think that I'm going to try to play that one more time because I want people to hear how he twists reality. That the First Amendment actually requires him to control the press.
The First Amendment protects the freedom of the press and the freedom of speech. And the freedom of speech encourages us to ask tough questions about what is going on in the media, what is motivating the tidal wave of disinformation that is putting the lives of so many Americans and ultimately our democracy at risk.
So what you have is these deceivers, quite ironically, these deceivers and givers of disinformation are claiming that the First Amendment requires Congress to
decide what ought to be broadcast.
Decide what should be broadcast and what not. So this whole hearing is about
networks.
Oh no,
not just even specific.
Oh, it gets worse.
Information.
It gets worse. Okay, so you have them. This whole meeting is about truth, right? Defining truth. Anybody who criticizes the CDC or anybody in government, anybody who mocks them, anybody who's part of Stop the Steal, anybody who is not who they want them to be, right? So here's the next clip. Now this is also Mike Doyle.
Reporting facts. When truth becomes a commodity to be traded upon for profit, and facts and consequences don't matter to those who report them, our democracy is undermined. It is the responsibility of this subcommittee to hold these institutions to a higher standard.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that? That's, JC, that is, they're using the Commerce Clause now, right? When truth becomes a commodity. Let me play that for you again.
When truth becomes a commodity to be traded upon for profit, and facts and consequences don't matter to those who report them, our democracy is undermined. It is the responsibility of this subcommittee to hold these institutions to a higher standard.
It is the duty of the Communications and Technology Subcommittee to define truth, because because now truth is a commodity that they ought to be regulating.
This is a subcommittee under Energy and Commerce.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it is the subcommittee is the Communications and Technology subcommittee. All right, so this chick is Anna Eshoo. And Anna Eshoo is a Democrat from California who's been in office for 28 years.
It's a very important hearing today. Let me put it bluntly. Misinformation is killing Americans and damaging our democracy. We have to examine how conspiracies and lies convince people to dismiss public health measures and refuse life-saving vaccines. This is not about left versus right. This is about life and death. Similarly, the January 6th insurrection was built on a foundation of lies about mail-in ballots, voting machines, and election results. The First Amendment prohibits Congress from enacting laws abridging the freedom of speech, and I'm an ardent supporter of it. It does not, however, stop us from examining the public health and democratic implications of misinformation.
Democrat, California, District 18, House District 18.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a House
This is House
subcommittee.
House subcommittee. Yep.
Mike Doyle is the chairman
Yes, he is.
from Pennsylvania 18.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And she has just said that it's our duty, if you disagree with us, to ensure that you don't disagree with us. Because what you see here, the vaccinations, the health issues, because now we have a health crisis. Anybody who challenges what the government says will now be labeled as disinformation and subject to regulation, silencing, prosecution, fines, whatever.
And just so you understand the reach of this, from House.gov, they've given this subcommittee jurisdiction over, quote, electronic communications, both interstate and foreign, including voice, video, audio, and data, whether transmitted by wire or wirelessly, and whether transmitted by telecommunications, commercial, or private mobile service, broadcast, cable, satellite, microwave, and of course our catch-all, or other mode, ham radio, speech, blah, blah, blah. That's an
Last, I have one more video for you, right? This is save the last for the best. This is Soledad, the best for last, the last for best. This is Soledad O'Brien explaining why we have to do this.
And informing them. What's the danger when content is presented to viewers as news or as facts that really amounts to entertainment without a factual basis or any journalistic standards? Do you believe that this has exacerbated the pandemic, and do you think it helped foment the insurrectionist attack on January 6th?
I think you fail in your journalism when you do not actually do what the job is, which is to bring facts to people. And listen, first of all, I just want to say I'm incredibly proud to be a journalist. I work with many great colleagues, and there are many good news organizations, large and small, local TV stations, newspapers, big and small, and I'll name some of them. I think Report for America is quite good. Heckender Report is quite good. ProPublica is quite good. They're elevating, and they are reporting, frankly, around the country. And I think probably the biggest issue is that there's just not enough of them, right? So when you have misinformation and you have lies elevated, we talk about more speech and good speech and better speech. I think the actual conversation is about the risks of elevating lies. My conversation is about facts and lies. And so I think that you should not be allowed, and this should be through the news organization, should not want people to be on the air if they are in fact lying, and they are liars.
So liars and lying people should not be allowed on the air. And she's already identified to us who's good. Everybody else is bad, right? So good can be allowed, and bad has to be completely abolished.
Then her news agency shouldn't be on the air. Neither should she. I mean, I can name several specific lies that they're guilty of. So if they're going to follow through with this, with
But you
that premise, then
understand-
they should be shut down.
But you have to understand what she's doing here. She is telling the people in power that they are supposed to define good and bad, and they are to define truth and lies. So when Congress starts defining truth and lies, right? Because that's the only way you're actually going to have a regulation that preserves the people and protects them from quote unquote disinformation.
Correct. I mean, I agree with the premise in Mr. Doyle's question. I do believe that disinformation and lies contributed to the insurrection, quote unquote, on the 6th. I'll give you an example. For instance, I believe the black vote did not vote for Joe Biden. They did not vote for the Democrat Party. They voted against a racist. Well, where did that notion of Trump as a racist come from?
Mm-hmm.
It came from the continual 4-year-long lie perpetrated by the media. Example number 1, Soledad O'Brien personally and her network specifically repeated over a number of years that Trump said all Mexicans were rapists and criminals. Now you can, so that's one hoax. You can Google that. Pretty quickly find the transcript and find the discussion where this happened relative to border security and what Mr. Trump said. And he never said that. But it's funny how they're flipping the script. It's totally the opposite. If they really want to do some sort of 9/11 commission style investigation and hearing, if they follow that objectively about the contributing causes of extremism in America, you're looking at the guilty party when you look at the face of Soledad O'Brien. And now they're talking about droning and assassinating and killing Trump supporters.
Which I called
That's
back.
going to increase extremism.
Okay, so I tried to explain that to people back in 2011 and 2013. There are articles that are dated that I have published teaching.
There you go. We need to keep an eye all around us. Y'all really need to subscribe to this channel. Usually they don't get heavily involved into this type of stuff. It's more teaching the Constitution and what the Constitution says and the original intent of the Constitution, not what the government plays off today. The original intent. Okay? So, I mean, what's going to be the worst part? You guys don't like it? Cancel it? You know what I mean? Their shows are usually about an hour long. And on YouTube, it comes on at 5 o'clock. You can find her on Facebook. 5 o'clock. That's Texas time. Okay? I mean, it's just... This is just kind of show... outside the box. And some other outlook besides CNN, NBC, Fox News, and all that kind of stuff, right? So it kind of makes you think outside the box, like what is really going on. But this is Decent for We the People News. Till next time, y'all. Bye.